In this video, we'll see how to add or subtract rational numbers, also known as fractions. Here, you just want to remember to find the common denominator whenever you add or subtract a fraction. Please reduce your final answer, but if you get an improper fraction, it's okay if you leave it as improper, but if you want, you can change it to a mixed number. All right, so let's look at our first example. I've got 3/8 plus -2/5. First thing I want to do is rewrite these so they have a common denominator. And the smallest number that 8 and 5 both go into is 40. So 40 is my least common denominator. I know 8 times 5 is 40, 3 times 5 is 15. So 15/40 plus negative 5 times 8 is 40, 2 times 8 is 16. That's negative 16/40. Then I think to myself, well, what's 15 plus negative 16? I can ignore the denominator because I know when I add or subtract fractions, the denominator stays the same. So 15 plus negative 16 is -1. So the answer is -1/40. Let's take a look at another example. -11/7 plus -1/2. I want to find a common denominator, and I know the least common denominator for 7 and 2 is 14. 7 times 2 is 14. 11 times 2 is 22. I want to add negative, and I know my denominator here is going to be 14 also. 2 times 7 is 14. 1 times 7 is 7. So I think to myself, well, what is -22/14 plus -7/14? Again, I know my denominator is going to be the same. -22 plus -7 is -29. So we could write our answer as -29/14. If you want, you can change this to a mixed number, and you could write it as -2 and 1/14. All right, let's look at a couple examples with subtraction. -19/24 minus 5/3. 24 is the least common denominator for these two fractions. So -19/24 stays the same. -19/24 minus something over 24. 3 times 8 is 24. 5 times 8 is 40. So I know my denominator is 24. And I think to myself, what is -19 minus 40? Well, if I'm at -19 on the number line and I move left 40, I'm going to end up at -59. So I have -59/24. You can leave your answer like that, or you can write it as a mixed number. That's going to be negative 24 goes into 59 two times, with 11/24 left over. And now I've got 13/11 minus a -7/3. Think to myself, what's the common denominator? That's going to be 33. 11 times 3 is 33. 13 times 3, that's 39. And then instead of writing minus a negative, I'm just going to rewrite subtracting a negative as adding. 3 times 11 is 33. 7 times 11 is 77. So I have 39/33 plus 77/33. 33 is my denominator. 39 plus 77, that is going to get me 116. And I have 116/33. 33 goes into 116 three times, and there are 17/33 left. All right, here's a longer example, but the same thing. You want to write a common denominator. The common denominator is going to be 100. 25 times 4 is 100, so 6 times 4 is 24. Again, I see minus a negative, so I'm just going to rewrite that as plus. 4 times 25 is 100. 3 times 25 is 75. And finally, 10 times 10 is 100. 7 times 10 is 70. I'm going to add 24 100ths plus 75 100ths, and that is 99 100ths. 99 100ths plus a negative 70 100ths is going to give me 29 100ths. All right, here's a couple for you to do on your own. Hit pause, do them, and then see if you get the same answer I do. All right, for the first one, 15 and 20, the common denominator for those is going to be 60. 15 times 4 is 60, 7 times 4 is 28, 11 times 3 is 60, or sorry, 20 times 3 is 60, 11 times 3 is 33. I know my denominator is going to be 60. 28 plus negative 33, that's negative 5/60ths. But I can reduce that fraction. 5 goes into 60 12 times, so negative 5/60ths is equivalent to negative 1/12. In this last example with 3 and with 8, the least common denominator is going to be 24. 3 times 8 is 24, so 2 times 8 is 16, minus 8 times 3 is 24, 11 times 3 is 33. Negative 16 minus 33 is negative 49. And negative 49 over 24, you can leave your answer like that, but if you want to make it a mixed number, you can write it as negative 2 and 1/20. And that's how you add and subtract rational numbers.